Right, there we go. We are live. Hello, guys. So yeah, as the topic suggests today, just throw your questions at me. I've not really got a topic in mind. This week I was kind of thinking of a couple of topics, but then I just thought, nah, I can't be bothered. I'll just literally let you guys decide what we're going to talk about today. I've not really narrowed a proper topic down or anything like that, so I thought, you know what, I'll just hand it over to you guys. I don't mind if it's reselling related questions, non-reselling, whatever today, as long as it's not too crazy if it's non-reselling related. Also, I'm not going to answer any more tax questions this week. I feel like the last couple of weeks there's been a lot of this sort of people asking tax questions and stuff, and I just feel like it's made the show a little bit less enjoyable for both me and also some of you who are watching. I started Thursday Talks for it to be like a fun show and something that's going to be very enjoyable and quite light as well. Well, I say light, I'm kind of not that light, am I? But hopefully you'll know what I mean. And I feel like with doing all the heavy tax stuff, kind of gets away from just that fun element. So, reselling questions are fine in the chat, or non-reselling questions are fine, but just, light reselling questions, not like really heavy stuff, because I just feel like it dampens the fun vibe a little bit. So, yeah, anyway, we'll get on with it now. I'll just close this down. We've got a few people in there. We've got Jason, we've got Peter. Oh no, Peter's had to go. He said, won't be able to watch today as out. Won't get back in time. Have a good one. Thank you very much for popping in anyway, Peter. We've got Tom in there. I don't know whether I said. Gemma in there. Jason. Sean. We've got Andy. We've got Richard. So, yeah, we've got a few people in there today. So yeah, as I said, just pop your questions in the chat, like questions if you want, and yeah, we'll just go on with it. So let's make it a bit of a fun episode today. I'm not gonna get involved with other things, like all the crypto stuff and anything else that I've been talking about. Let's just focus it on reselling as well as possible, and then we can go off topic to other stuff, but maybe leave the whole crypto and everything else at the door as well. So yeah, anyway, let's get on with it. Let's get some questions in the chat and let's get going. I think that's my piece said, so I literally have nothing now. I don't have any topic, so if there's no questions in the chat, then I'm just going to be stood here with tumbleweed blowing across. So if anyone's got a question, just whack it in there now. We've got Mark in the chat, ads in a hoodie, keeping it real. Yeah, do I normally wear a hoodie? I mean, I've been wearing a hoodie recently because of how cold it's been. And today, oh my god, in this house, it's freezing today. So, it's really nice, warm one, this. So, yeah. We've got Zahir in there. Hi, all. Ads, what do you think about Takeshi 69 facing 25 facing 25 years to Takeshi 69. What even is that? I don't even know what it is. I'm assuming they're a person and they're facing life in prison. Is that right? Am I getting that right? I don't know. I don't watch the news because I have quite strong opinions about the news. I feel like essentially the news concentrates on the negative more than the positive, and therefore it just feeds negative thoughts into my life, whereas like a lot of the thoughts I have anyway are quite negative. I'm kind of naturally a bit of a pessimist, and therefore if I watch all the news and all the horrible stories that are on there, it just feeds all this negative stuff into my mind. So I don't really keep up with it or anything, so I wouldn't know anything about any of that really. The only time I watch it is if my mum and dad have got it on or whatever, and then I might sit down for 5 minutes and just catch a bit of it. We've got George in the chat. What up, ads? Thank you for what up, ads? I was going to say thank you very much then, but I meant to say hello, George. Anyway, we've got, who else have we got in there? I did over £700 in sales yesterday. It's booming for me. Yeah, it's going pretty well for me. I did a really good week last week. I mean, last week was really, really good. This week has been a bit slower, but it's still been consistent. I've still been doing over that £100 a day, but last week it was more like £200 a day. I had a couple of days, I think, that were like £300 a day, or one day that was about £300. Yeah, I think it was about 300 odd, 350 or something. So really, really good for me last week. This week, again, steady, but nothing major. But obviously I've got all the Lego up at Amazon, sent all that off now, there's no more to go. So obviously, you know, it's just nice profits coming from that. And most, or pretty much 95% of the stuff up there that's Lego is over 20 quid, over that 20-25 pound mark. I've got a few sets up there at, you know, sort of 50 to 100 quid as well. But the majority are between sort of 30 and 50. That's kind of my sweet spot. So I've got a lot of items up there at 30, 35, maybe, you know, £40, that sort of range. And, you know, you only need a couple of sales of them each day and you know, a couple on eBay and you're doing pretty well. So, yeah, so I have to say it's not been too bad recently. You know, so far in Q4 it's been pretty poor. You know, like opposed to these last couple of weeks, like October for me wasn't as good as it normally would be. You know, first week or so in November wasn't as good as it normally would be. So, yeah, and I do feel like, I don't know whether, I can't really blame it on the weather because we've not got the good weather anymore, but I feel like this year, a lot of the year has been dominated by this brilliant weather, and that's kind of had an impact on sales over summer. And I don't know, it just feels like for some reason that sort of slowness in sales is still creeping in October and November. Now, we've also got the whole thing of we could be coming into, you know, another economic downturn, so therefore, you know, people tightening the belts a little bit more, and maybe that's why it's not been as good, as well as the good weather we had a few months ago in summer, and that's why it wasn't brilliant over summer. So I don't know, there's all these different factors, but I never think you can just put, you know, good sales or bad sales down to one factor. I think it's a number of factors. You know, it has to do with certain internal factors within your own business, and also external factors like, as I mentioned, economic downturns, or, you know, recessions, or also, you know, brilliant weather and people not shopping online as much or anything like that. All these different factors. You could name like 100 different factors. So, yeah. You know, it's just one of those things, but certainly from now on, I think it's going to be pretty smooth sailing. I think with the stuff I've got up at Amazon, and obviously if I put a bit more work into eBay, from now till sort of, I'd say mid-January, will be pretty smooth sailing. So, yeah, quite happy with that. It's not doing too bad. Ads can do, what ads can do, I am an eBay reseller, get out of here, comedy show. What? Can you rephrase that more? I couldn't even bloody understand that. Ads can do. I can't even understand that. I know it's something about doing another comedy short. I am doing comedy shorts. I've got these, you know, 3 Christmas specials, 2 of which are just songs. They're very, very short. They're like 2 minutes each. But then there is like, I wouldn't call it, I didn't actually, because I've already uploaded it, but I've just put it to private for now. I didn't actually call it a comedy short, I don't think, because I wasn't sure whether it's actually that comedic. It's more of just like a bit of a, it's more of like a, it's not even, it's weird, because I didn't want to entitle it a short film, and I didn't want to entitle it a short comedy. I was thinking maybe a spoof might kind of be the right title. But in the end, I don't think I put anything. Like, I didn't put comedy short or spoof or anything. I think I just titled it what I was going to title it. But yeah, I mean, I've got a lot. I've said this for months. I've got a lot of plans with comedy shorts. I was meant to do them in August, and I never got around to doing them. And, you know, they've just kind of sat there, and then I thought to myself, oh, well, I want to do these Christmas specials, because I had more ideas coming through, you know, of different things I wanted to do. And, you know, I did them, and that was brilliant, so I took a bit of action there, and actually got them done. But, yeah, I think, you know, I'm just going to do the comedy shorts just slowly, you know, churn them out, because I just realised that, you know, I can't spend too much time on YouTube. Like, I already spend enough time on YouTube. Like, I spend, I don't know, I would say like 40 to 50 hours a month. Obviously not a week, but like 40 to 50 hours a month. That includes, you know, the 4 hours of doing these, you know, 4 Thursday Talks episodes. That includes all my time for tagging and all the rest of it, and doing editing, and then, you know, trying to sort things out, you know, video ideas and filming them, and, you know, scripting comedy shorts if I'm doing something like that. And so, I mean, like, oh my god, like late October, early November, I spent like 5 days just solidly editing and scripting and filming, and it's just not, like, I shouldn't be doing it. I shouldn't be doing it, you know, because it's not my main business. It's not even a part of my main business financially. What, you know, like the money I get from it is no way near enough to warrant anywhere near the amount of time I put into it. The money I get from it is enough to warrant about 3 hours a month, like, that I should be putting into it. But I put in way more than that, and it's because I love it. You know, I absolutely love it. But it's just one of those things, really. You know, I need to step back. I need to focus on my reselling more. And that means that, unfortunately, you know, I can't do as many comedy shorts, or, you know, they're just going to be slower with progress. And it really does sadden me. Me more than anyone, probably. I know other people might be a bit, like, disappointed that I'm not doing them as regularly or whatever, but it really does sadden me because, you know, I do love doing them, but I just can't. They just don't warrant the time. I mean, even just doing one comedy short, like 6-minute comedy short, that's like 2 full days out of my, you know, out of my week, out of my month, whatever. You know, and I'm talking like 8 to 10 hour days. You know, with filming. The filming part isn't too bad. You can get that done in about 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours. But it's the editing. If I want to make it really good, editing wise, I need to put 10 hours into it. You know, I need to put 6 to 10 hours into it. And really get it good, you know. So yeah, I just can't afford to do that. I need to sort of reevaluate where my priorities lie and think to myself, look, I've just got to do eBay, I've got to do Amazon, and that, because that's where I might make my money, you know. Anyway, I'll have a look in the chat. We'll see where we are. Question, Sean says, Amazon.es says my account is at risk of deactivation, yet other Amazons are fine with me. Now, I had that, didn't I, Sean? I don't know whether you saw the video. It says, like, it has a banner on your app with Amazon where it says your account is at risk of deactivation. You need to take action within the next 60 days, or whatever it is, that banner. And I had that, and I contacted them. It was about negative feedback, and I got them to remove the negative feedback, so my account was in good standing again. So what you'll need to do is obviously go into your account, go into your, I think it's your performance tab or something like that, or I think it's up at, I think it's performance, and then you have a little drop down menu, and it says account health, and then you just click into there. And then you'll see the issue, you know, the issue for your account, and then you can just work out whether you'll be able to get it removed or not. You know, if it's a negative feedback, or if it's maybe another one would be an intellectual property, you know, dispute or something like that. And just make sure you can get it removed, because yeah, if you don't get it removed, I think it's after about 60 days or 90 days or something, they can, like, just shut your account down, you know, and that's that. And I really have been close with Amazon on a couple of occasions, so I am quite careful now. But I mean, there's not a lot you can do. The only thing you can do really on Amazon to prevent the negative feedbacks being, you know, so much of an impact is actually sell on volume. So sell, like, you know, 200-300 items or more, if, you know, if you can, about 400 or 500 a month. So then you've got a nice steady flow of items going through, and then it brings that feedback percentage down when you get a negative, and then you won't be over the threshold that then they'll trigger the deactivation message. So yeah, that's one thing you can do, but obviously I'm not at that stage anymore. I don't sell on that level of volume, so for me and for a lot of the people watching, it is quite scary when you're selling on Amazon and you're not selling volume, because obviously when you get negative feedback, it's worth more in terms of percentage, you know, in percentage terms, and therefore it can trigger that whole deactivation thing. And that is quite scary, that one negative feedback can potentially just destroy your entire account. And I was very lucky that I could get it removed on that occasion. And you can get, on Amazon, you can get it removed. I believe it's if, even if in the comment they say, oh, what's it, like, even if they refer to price in the comments, so if they say, like, oh, this was terribly expensive for what it is, or whatever, something like that, I'm pretty sure you can get that removed, because the one I got removed was about price. They said, oh, $24.99 for this or something, they said. You know, I'm quite disappointed in that price or something, and then I managed to get, you know, contact Amazon and get it removed. And yeah, that was a scary thing. But I did, it was funny because I capitalised, well, I say I capitalised, it didn't really get much money, the video, but basically I thought to myself, right, how can I make good out of a bad problem? I thought, oh, if I do a really good thumbnail and everything, I bet you this video will get pretty good views. It did get okay views, you know, the video that I did on it. You know, nothing brilliant, but at least, so I kind of turned a bad problem, because I was like, if my Amazon account is going down, I'm making sure that I get some good money on YouTube for a video about this, so then I can kind of replace a little bit of the money I would have lost, you know, in future with that. But luckily enough, it worked out in my favour anyway, so, and yeah, I did the video, and I got a bit of money for the video, so that was good. I think I got like 1.1k views or something. So yeah, anyway, oh god, we've got a load of questions coming in. I'm sorry I'm rambling again. I will try and keep up with the chat today. Richard said, how's sales been? I kind of touched on that, didn't I? Takeshi 69 got beat up at an airport, video on Google. Oh, right. So, well, how is he going to jail? But if he was the one who got beat up, why would he go to jail? Like, what? Or I don't know. I don't know the full story. Maybe he isn't. First time catching a live stream, the Lost Boy says, don't sell, but love watching the vids, seeing what sells, etc. Well, thank you very much for popping in anyway. Same here as the bit of chatting there. I am a Oh, right, I get it now, Mark. I get it. So I am an eBay reseller, get me out. That'd be brilliant. Oh, could you imagine that? That is a brilliant idea, actually, that. You know what we'd need to do? We need to get everyone together as a group again. And, like, we need a couple of people filming it. Like, because I'd love doing the filming and stuff and the directing of it anyway. So I could do that. I could, you know, we could have Nick. Nick could probably love doing the filming of it and stuff. Because we need a couple of people, like, who aren't going to be in it, who are going to be doing the filming. You know, who else would be good at doing the filming? I don't know. There's loads of people who are pretty good at doing the filming. No, Lex would be good at doing the filming because they're doing her filmmaking stuff. But no, we could do that, and then we could have it, and then we could do it in a pub or something, couldn't we? Like, that's the little setting for I'm an eBay reseller. But I'm just trying to think, like, I wonder how you could structure it, you know? Like, what the trials would be and all the rest of it. It's funny though, because I wanted to mention about I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here last week, but we got onto so many different topics of random stuff that I didn't end up talking about. But I was going to say, you know, I wondered whether anyone was watching it. Now, I haven't watched it. I was going to watch it on Sunday. I was like, yeah, on Saturday or something, I was like, yeah, I'll probably watch that this year. And I just didn't watch it. And then, you know, the problem with that show is, right, I love the show, it's a brilliant show, but if you don't catch the first episode, then you start thinking to yourself, oh, well, I'm a day behind now. And then if you don't catch up, you know, if you don't catch up on that next day, you're then 2 days behind, and then you're just like, oh, well, I can't bother watching it. So that kind of happened to me, and I don't want to watch, you know, like now, we're probably about 3 or 4 days in, aren't we? And, you know, I don't want to catch up on 3 or 4 hours of it, you know, I just don't want to do that, so I'll never catch up, you know. Or what I could do is when it's finished, if it's available on ITV Player or something, I could watch the entire thing, but then it's not as fun, because it's not, like, you know, I'll probably end up knowing the winner then anyway with social media these days, you know, I'll probably know the king or queen of the jungle anyway, so, yeah, it's a bit annoying because I was like, I really want to watch it, but I just didn't have the motivation to even watch it. That sounds really bad, but I just didn't, you know, and there was a couple of good people in it, though, that I liked. I wouldn't have minded seeing John Barrowman in there because of Doctor Who, obviously. I was quite on board for Anne. Is it, yeah, Anne Hegarty or something her name is, off The Chase, obviously. Nick Knowles. Noel Edmonds apparently is going in as the mystery arrival or something. And then there was one other person. Well, maybe that was it. I don't know, maybe there was one other person that I liked, but what I always do now is, when it's coming about, I always think to myself, right, if there's like 5 people in it, you know, like almost half the sort of campmates, you know, because there's normally like 12 in there after the late arrivals. But, you know, like if there's 5 people in it that I think are decent and that I like watching, I'll watch it. So I thought this year, well, yeah, there's like 4 or 5 people in it this year. I think, you know, pretty decent and I like watching. But I just didn't go for it, you know. Anyway, It is annoying, and I know I won't catch up now, so it's, yeah. Ads, can you please help get Reselling Polly to 1,000 subs on YouTube? She's free, short. Yeah, I don't know. Damn it. I can shout her out and I can say subscribe to Reselling Polly on YouTube, but I can't put a graphic up. I'd love to put a graphic up for her, but obviously because I'm live, I can't actually do a little graphic. But yeah, basically type in YouTube, Reselling Polly in the search bar, and then just hit subscribe, get her up to 1,000 subscribers, help her out, and then obviously she can monetize her content as well, which is brilliant. I was actually thinking, it's funny you should bring that up. Is it Kelly, Flipping Fantastic Finds? I am right in saying it's Kelly, isn't it? So yeah, I was actually thinking like, what we should all do as a community, right? Like, you know, all the different... I don't consider myself a big channel in the reselling community space or whatever, or YouTube space. But, you know, all the channels, you know, with a half decent following, maybe like 1,500 and up, let's say, we all get together and we all say, right, this person, let's just take, for example, Steve on YouTube, Steve Green Adventure, is at like 600 odd subs or 700 subs. We all get together at the end of a video, or maybe at the start of a video, like a sales update or something like that we're doing 1 week. We all simultaneously on those videos, you know, we're publishing. It doesn't have to be at the same time, but on one video on one day or whatever, all of us put it at the start of the video and feature like one channel that's below 1,000 subs, and see with all of our combined, like, you know, 10, 20 of us, see with all our combined might if we can get that one person up to 1,000 subscribers, and then they can monetize their content as well. And then we've essentially cheated the system, because we basically cheated YouTube, because obviously like YouTube you have to get up to 1,000 to obviously get monetization. We're able to kind of game that system and get another person able to actually monetize their content. I don't know whether anyone goes for that idea or not, but it's just something I've been thinking about the last few weeks. Like, I really want to do. Like, there's certain people who've been doing YouTube videos for a long time on reselling, like, you know, year and a half. Steve is obviously one of them. Is Peter's not up to a K yet, is he? Or is he? Is Peter up to a K? No, I don't think he is he? But he's been doing content for a very long time. And I just feel like it would be good of all, you know, the people who have a little bit of an audience or whatever, to then just push them up a bit, you know. I'm sure they're happy with the number of subscribers they've got already, don't get me wrong. But it's just, I think it would be nice just to help them out even more, you know. And just push them up a little bit, and then basically help them turn their YouTube into a little bit of an income as well, because I know that Steve and Peter and other people who are below 1,000, they put a lot of work into their videos, and it isn't fair, in my personal opinion, for them not to get anything back for it. But obviously YouTube has just moved the goalpost, you know, just like eBay or Amazon do with different restrictions and stuff. So anyway, I mean, if people go for that idea, then it's something I'd love to set up, you know, between a lot of different channels. But yeah, hopefully that got Reselling Polly up to 1,000 subs, which would be pretty cool. Question: Amazon? Oh, I've already. I'm reading over old ground now. All right. Ah, they've said to Sean they can't remove it. Is that right? It says the issue can't be removed. Customer. Oh, that is pretty. I don't know what you can do there, Sean. I'm just gonna have to say you're gonna have to kind of find out yourself. It's kind of the best way to learn with these things. I honestly have told you all I know about dealing with these things, so you're just gonna have to contact support and hope that something is, you know, is able to happen. You know, something positive is able to happen. Question: what's your preferred selling platform? Money aside, platform, money aside. Oh, money aside. Okay, right. I was just reading that wrong for a second there. Which platform do you enjoy? I enjoy massively. God, this is like making you choose your kids. I mean, honestly, I've been back and forth between the. If you've been following me for a while, since day one of Thursday Talks, let's say November the 24th. No, November the 12th, I think it was, 2015, I started Thursday Talks, so just over 3 years ago. And if you've followed me through my journey on Thursday Talks from episode 1 right all the way to episode 148, you will know as much as me how much I have swayed from both platforms. Like, on some videos I would say, oh, I love Amazon this week. On other videos I'd say, oh, I love eBay this week. There's different perks for different platforms, as we all know. And for Amazon, for me, the speed of which you can list items, that is the major perk. With eBay, the perk for me is being able to build more of something creative and more of a brand. I mean, I don't really think, I know I should, trust me, I really do know I should, but I've never really thought of my eBay store as a brand. The only close thing to a brand I associate with it is the fact that I want my eBay store to encapsulate as many items as I can. So you could maybe say that my brand is a random emporium, or like one of those shops that sell everything kind of thing. You could say that maybe is my brand, even though I'm not thinking of it as a brand. I actually think of my YouTube channel more of a brand than I think of my eBay store, which probably says something about how much I love YouTube as well on top of that. But essentially, I love the creativity behind eBay. I love the fact that you can do nice photos, you can spend a bit of time on your listings, and if you want to, and you can just make something a bit more creative than you can with Amazon. With Amazon, it's just kind of, basically just focused on price. You're just listing the items on the same listing, at a certain price that will sell, and that's about that. So I'd say both. I can't. I love Amazon this time of year. I'll tell you that. I love Amazon this time of year. But in the summer and stuff and rest of the year, I love eBay. I just love dealing with eBay, So yeah, Amazon at Christmas, eBay the rest of the year. That's what I'd say. If I'm being completely honest, Amazon at Christmas, eBay the rest of the year. I'm absolutely loving Amazon at the moment, I've not even had half my cup of tea yet. I always miss my cup of tea. This is what happens on Thursday Talks. I miss my cup of tea, and I end up get my chair back from over here because put all the green screen down and stuff, and I end up having to drink a cold cup of tea, which is not, I don't mind anyway, but I always forget to bloody drink it while I'm doing Thursday Talks. I get on such a ramble, don't I? Right then, people rarely leave feedback on Amazon, so 1 or 2 bad feedback can really harm your account. Very, very true, Richard. It's just, yeah. And as I was saying, the more volume you do, if you can do more volume, the more chance of getting a few positives you have. And then if you get those few positives, it might bring that percentage down a little bit when you end up getting a negative. But the other bad thing about it is that when people leave feedback on Amazon, very rarely they'll be leaving positive feedback. So you might not even get that many positive feedback anyway. But the more volume you sell, the more likely you are to build up a bit of feedback that will then help when you get a negative. But it's just one of those things with Amazon that I absolutely detest. I really do hate. And I do think they should maybe give you a bit more consideration, and maybe sort it out a little bit. I mean, like with eBay, I don't like some of the bans that people get on eBay. I have a lot to say about some of the systems that eBay have in place. But what you've got to give them, what you've got to kind of, say, oh yeah, that's actually good that eBay does this, is the fact that they do give you enough chances, like, I mean, I've had a couple of bans on eBay, like, from items that I've listed, that I couldn't list, and I wasn't aware that you couldn't list, because I wasn't clued up on the, what do we call it, the restricted items and stuff, and to be honest, for one of the bans, I actually managed to get that removed. Customer service basically did me a favour and got it removed, which was very lucky. I shouldn't have actually been able to get it removed. But essentially, you have to give it to them, but, they will give you a few different opportunities and a few different kind of chances to sell on their platform and do well on their platform, and they won't just immediately shut your account down. Now, I know there's been a lot of stories of people having their accounts immediately shut down for one wrong thing, and maybe that is true. I don't want to jinx my own account by saying, oh, it's a rarity or anything. Every time I say it, I'm just playing that my account's okay. I just don't like talking about it, because it's like that, if you talk about it, it's going to come true or something. But you know, like power of manifestation or something like that. But no, you know, there are probably cases where that happens, but for a majority of the time, you know, people are gonna, you know, eBay are gonna be fairly courteous, and they're gonna help you out and help you continue selling on eBay as best you can, unless it is a major policy violation, and then they'll probably end up gonna just, you know, shut your account down. So you have got to be careful, and it is mainly in your control anyway. But yeah, I think with eBay, that's another thing that I love about it is they're a little bit more lenient than Amazon, even though at times we may think they aren't as lenient. So yeah, anyway, we'll just go down again. Oh, we've got Heather in the chat, Treasure Pirate, hi there. I'm not even anywhere near down the chat here. But I have a good excuse to have more tea and biscuits. That's Kirsten. Kirsten's in the chat. Oh, Gary's in the chat. Hi there. Did I don't know whether I even said hi to Gary. So hi there, Gary. Anyway, I'd finished my listings for the day. Entertain me. Brilliant. Oh, what can we do that's entertaining? Lovely ads. Thank you. Yes, Kelly. Good. I was like 99.9% sure, but the problem with me is if I say a name and it's wrong, I get really upset with myself because I'm like, oh damn it, you know, I don't want to kind of think that they, you know, I don't know their name or anything. So I'm just very internally turmoiled, you know, when I you know, if I get something wrong on someone else's part, kind of thing. But anyway, I don't need to explain all my mental capabilities and issues and stuff. Yeah, so Treasure Pirate says reselling Polly on 998. You know what? Have I subscribed to her? Oh my god, this is going to be so bad if I haven't subscribed. I don't know whether I have, you know, because some channels I just watch and then I don't even know if I'm subscribed to Karen Sells Clothes because I only watch them like every now and then because it's kind of clothing and stuff. If not, I'll subscribe now. I've watched a channel a few times, but I just, you know, some channels, as I say, I just don't. Ooh, what's that? Response to Joey. Oh no, I've not subscribed. Wait, it says she's on. Is that right? It says she's on 980. One sec. It says she's on 980. Oh no, there we go. 1,000. Cool. There we go. I was the one. Oh my god, I was the 1,000 subscriber. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's pretty cool. Right, anyway. Are we alright now? Right. Let me just see up here. Let's see how I'm alright here. Yeah, I'm in frame. Great. Right then. So, yeah, she's got 1,000. Does anyone else need getting up to 1,000? If you got like 10 away or something, I could probably just about do 10 away with the audience that I've got. But yeah, anyway. If you're on like 990 and you happen to be in the chat, and I pretty much know you as well. Great idea, hashtag UK reselling community. Well, I can always sort that out. I can message a few people and I could see if they maybe think it's a good idea. And we can just try and see if, you know, with the power of the community, how much we can actually, you know, impact someone's channel in a positive way, you know, actually get their subscribers up. I do think it would be a good idea. OMG, so close. Well, there you go. She's pretty much hit it now. But the only issue is, and I have this issue on Instagram, when I get to a goal, like, you know, I just recently got to 1,000 followers on Instagram, and I was like 1,010 or 1,011, and then it dropped right down to like 1,005, and I was like, oh no, I'm going to be below 1,000 again. So I just hope that doesn't happen on YouTube. So what we need to do really is try and get her to like 1,005, so that then, you know, we're pretty much in the clear. But I'm sure she'll get that naturally anyway in the next couple of days. So, because generally I get like, well, you know, on average maybe about 2 to 3 subscribers a day. But you know, some days you'll get like 10 or something silly like that. It's crazy. Anyway, we've got what else have we got in here? eBay sided with me on an item not described. They removed the defect and refunded the customer themselves. Wow, that's interesting because they don't normally side with item not as described. I actually took a defect for an item not as described because I don't know whether I did a video on this on my channel or whether there was whether I did it on Thursday Talks. I think it was on Thursday Talks talked about it, but there was this Le Creuset plan. Le Creuset plan, and it was basically like, I think the original one I sent out was blue, and they were claiming it was brown, and they had photos and everything, and I tried arguing my case with eBay, and I tried fighting it, and I tried getting round it every which way I could. I looked at the guy's feedback, and he had some weird dodgy feedback, and I even notified eBay that feedback looks quite dodgy. Not in the fact that the feedback was dodgy in the sense of, he had a lot of negative feedback, but he actually had a lot of feedback that were selling like all the same item. So he had like, 2 or 3 pages of feedback that he was selling like this same item that I believe, now I couldn't prove this is the problem, but I believed he was running some sort of scam on a certain listing, and obviously I knew that he was scamming myself, so it wasn't necessarily out of the ordinary for me to think he's running some other scam as well, because I knew full well I had sent him out a blue one, and he had obviously put in his photos to eBay that there was a brown one, and I said to eBay, well look, if you look at the photos, that little stain wasn't there, or, on his brown one he had like a stain in the middle of it, and I said, look, if you look at the photos of the blue one, that stain wasn't there, I can 100% guarantee I sent that one out, and obviously you can check my feedback as well. I have, at the time I had like 99.8% positive or something, and I was just every little which way I could get around it, I was trying to throw all this stuff on the table at eBay saying, look, I'm not in the wrong here, this is a bloody scam that I'm going through, and they still sided with him, and then they made me refund him, and then I got a defect for it. Now then I rang up customer service, and I was saying, look, what's gone on, and I was explaining to them, because I wanted them to hear a human voice, I wanted them to hear my voice to make sure that they knew it was, I was actually really quite passionate about this, and really did want to help with the issue, but also obviously help with keeping my account safe as well. And anyway, they kind of were quite nice about it and then removed the defect anyway for me, but I still had to refund him, and that was really annoying because I really did fight for that one. I took a lot of stress with that one actually, because that was about 10 days, the whole process, maybe even 2 weeks. Of trying to really fight this, and it was just not good. So I try not to fight them as much anymore unless it's a really high value item, because if people want to return the item or whatever, then I'll do that. I'll just say return it, but I'm not going to, fight loads and loads of different cases, because to me it's just not worth it. Like, that was like 10 days of me just stressing and stuff, and yes, it probably was worth it, because if I had actually been successful, well, yeah, it would have been worth it if I had been successful, because it was like a £60 item, so, it was fairly worth it, but if it's like a £10 item or something like that, I'm just not dealing with it. They can return it back to me. If it's the wrong item or whatever, I'll try and do something to get, to get round it some way. But if it, at the end of the day, I'm just better off refunding and blocking and moving on. And some people will say that's, that's weak, or that's, it's probably not the right way to do things, but you've got to value and assess how much time you're spending on that one little thing that was a £10 item or whatever. And also you've got to assess, is it worth the risk to your account if you want to try and fight it and end up maybe getting a defect or something like that, something along those lines, because obviously it would fall under the seller case closed without seller resolution defect, and that defect can be quite powerful as well. I think with that defect, I don't know whether I'm correct in saying this, so take this with a pinch of salt, but I do feel like that defect actually gives you a higher percentage on, on your seller standards dashboard, so opposed to if you were to get a defect for late delivery, or you were to get a defect for, what's the other one, out of stock and stuff like that. So I don't know about that. I just something I saw at the time. I'm pretty sure that defect that I got for seller case closed without seller resolution, that one did more of a percentage damage to my seller standards dashboard than the other ones. So yeah, you've got to be careful with that, but certainly if it's like a high value item and you can try and fight it, and you can, and you feel like you're in the realm of fighting it, then just go for it and just try it. But if it's a low value item, honestly, my advice would just be to move on from it. If it's £10 item, even if it's less than £10 item, it's not worth it. Seriously, in my opinion, it's not worth the time of fighting for, however many days over, all this stress that you incur for just kind of that little amount of money. You may as well just use that time to list about another 30 or 40 or 50 items and get like 50 times that back in profit, But anyway, that's just my opinions on this matter. Right, let's go down the chat a bit. Great customer service from eBay Dublin. Oh, I have to say that. Did I ring up eBay? Yeah, I rang up eBay Dublin the other week. Thanks to Heather as well for the mobile number or the phone number. I had to get a item not received case closed down that was basically a GSP order. So I was not at fault. The track improved, the Hermes track improved that it got to the GSP centre, and it arrived there fine. So obviously I mentioned to her all this, she seemed quite a confident, lady on the phone. She seemed like she knew what she was doing. She wasn't new to it or anything, so she just said, right, the only issue with it is I have to send it over to our German team because for some reason that, the case had been switched over to them because obviously the package must have been lost in transit or something while it was on its way to Germany. So, something to do with that anyway. So she ended up transferring over to the German team and they closed it down within about 24 hours or something. So that was pretty good. So yeah, I have to say Heather is completely right. The customer service on the Dublin eBay phone line, brilliant. It didn't take me that long to get through either. I think it was like 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes or something. Maybe not even that, to be honest. But yeah, it was pretty good. Good customer service. I still can't find the blooming live chat. I don't know whether I mentioned that to you guys before, but on the help sheets, I can't find the live chat anymore. It's like they've disabled the live chat, and yeah, I can't even access it anymore, which is a bit annoying because I like the live chat. I don't like phoning up places. I really do have a lot of anxiety with that. So, when I have to phone up for whatever reason, and I always end up phoning up anyway because all these different things go wrong where I can't access a live chat or I can't, or like I can't get the correct answers on the live chat. So every time or every other time I end up having to phone up anyway, which is probably good because it helps challenge my anxiety with that a little bit and keep it at bay a little bit. But yeah, I don't like phoning up, and when I do, it's like climbing a mountain or something for me, like I have to think to myself, right, I'm gonna phone up, and then it's almost like I'm creating a death sentence on myself. I'm like, oh god, this is gonna be bad. I'm gonna get really bad anxiety, and then I end up dialing and I call, and then after the call's done, I'm blooming fine, But it's just that build up, isn't it? You've put yourself through so much stress building up to it, and then you do it, and you're like, oh well, what was that really? It's fine, yes, was I a little bit anxious on the phone? Yes, I was, because I'll always be like that, I believe, I don't think that I'm ever going to have no anxiety, because no one in the world has no anxiety, but, after all, I got my problem sorted, 99% of the time, and I've come off the phone and I'm fine, so... yeah, I think part of it is just a build-up, isn't it, really? Anyway, we'll just go down the chat. I'm trying to keep up as best I can, but... You know what it's like, there's so much chat in here. Are any of your neighbours nosy? Mine are now, I get deliveries at my house. No, none of my neighbours are nosy. Next door, this side, has a business of his own, so he kind of, sometimes he'll, ask me questions and stuff about the business, but... that's just friendly chat, isn't it? That's not necessarily being nosy, or they're not like physically nosy in terms of like they pop their heads over the fence or whatever or something like that to say, oh, what are they doing or whatever. So, I think we have pretty decent neighbours, to be honest. You could get a lot worse. We did have a lot worse. I'll just spend 5 minutes on this. We're about half two, aren't we? The last neighbours we had, I don't want to get into too much of their personal story, actually, so I won't get into too much of their personal story, even though you wouldn't be able to know who they are. But basically, what I will say is, they were having a lot of arguments in the household after a while. you know, it kind of just progressively got worse and worse, and there was quite severe arguments. Like, we thought there was people bloody they were, you know, physically violent and stuff at some point. I don't know whether they were or not. I never found out that, but they were loud. They were incredibly loud arguments. And I remember one day I was in year 11, and it was the night before my 5-hour practical art exam. So it was a 5-hour exam, had to be done in silence. I wasn't very good at art anyway. I didn't really care that much for the exam, to be honest, but obviously I wanted to get a good night's rest before I go into this exam. Anyway, they were up till like 3 AM arguing. I could not go to sleep for the life of me. I was just like, oh no, tomorrow's going to be terrible. I'm so sleep deprived. I've got a 5-hour art exam. It's going to be horrible. And then I went into the art exam and did that. And to be honest, it wasn't too bad. We were actually, well, I shouldn't say this because the teachers would probably get into crap for this, but you don't know any of the details anyway of my exam or my teachers or whatever, but and they're probably left there by now because this is 6 years ago. But they essentially they did let us talk a little bit, so we were allowed to talk and we had music on and stuff, so it wasn't actually that bad. And obviously, being a practical exam, it's not as formal as a written or an oral exam, so they basically you know, I was doing the practical. I actually got a D in art. I was pretty terrible at art, which is quite funny now because I do a lot of editing and I do a lot of YouTube, which you may say, I mean, with the background and stuff, I'm quite creative in the way I do YouTube, but it did make me realise that creativity, although maybe the actual structured art that I was doing in high school wasn't for me, it doesn't mean I'm artistic in my own way. It doesn't mean that, you know, there are different ways of artistry that I can do things. Like, for me, I'm quite I would say scientific or mathematical person most of the time, rather than you know, I rely heavily on logic and things like that, and science and basis of knowledge that way, rather than, you know, all this kind of art and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, but then I realised with things like Photoshop and editing of videos, they are very creative and very arty, but they're very creative and very arty in a very logical and scientific way. You know, editing a video just relies as heavily on, you know, human psychology and you know, sort of scientific, you know, science and stuff like that. Like, where should I put the jump cuts in to make people's attention keep, you know, to make people keep paying attention to the video. Again, we're getting into human psychology there and stuff like that. So it looks quite creative on a video where I can do editing well, but it's not actually that creative. I'm just using my science and my logic and stuff to create something that kind of appears creative and that is just my own form of art kind of thing, you know? So, yeah, that's quite a funny story, that, actually. But as I say, yeah, we have had a couple of neighbours before that weren't the best, you know, some nights and stuff. We've got Shelsteruni in there, we've got Chrissy in there. I don't know whether I gave shout-outs. We've also got Chris B. We've got Karen Sells Clothes in there as well. Yeah, I think it depends on the person you speak to. Yeah, it is gonna be that, Karen, you know. There's some people on the customer service team, I'm sure, who maybe are a little bit lackluster with what they're doing. They don't really have as much motivation for it and as much passion for it, and therefore they're not going to solve your problem as quickly or as efficiently as you want. And, you know, it's like that thing, the old sort of saying, well, I don't know whether it's a saying or not, but, you know, if you want a job doing, do it, well, it is a saying, actually. If you want a job doing, do it yourself kind of thing, trust yourself to get things done and stuff. And, you know, the other saying I was thinking of is, you know, no one can do it as good as you and stuff. So, you know, if you're putting your trust in these other people at the call centres and stuff, they might not be very particularly great at it. But then again, on the flip side, you might get someone brilliant, and they might be, you know, brilliant at it. So, anyway, I had the same ads. This is Chrissy. They sent back a totally different item, and eBay didn't let go at all. They said they had no proof. Exactly, that's the thing. You know, they don't have. It's very, very hard. Even if you video yourself packing something up, which I don't do because it's pointless. But even if you video yourself packing something up, that's not proof. That, I mean, because all they could say, well, you just packed that up and then you didn't send it to that person, or you just packed that up as a way of proving that you're you're not doing something wrong, when actually we still think you might be doing something wrong. It's not like direct proof. You might video it happening, but it doesn't mean you've taken it to the post office. It doesn't mean you've actually sent that exact item out. And even if you did video yourself all the way to the post office and do like the entire full process, just a video on you, then they just say, oh well, that's edited, or that's photoshopped, or that's something wrong with that, or something. You see what I mean? And it is annoying. It is annoying that you can't. In some circumstances, the scammers have got us, and we can't. There's not a lot we can do, and it does annoy me. But I mean, how many, realistically, out of all of you watching this chat, how many of your transactions that you've had have been like actually a genuine scammer? Like, I'm not talking like a disgruntled customer or anything. I'm talking like a genuine scammer. Like, I've done thousands of transactions on eBay. I mean, I must have had like, what, 2? 3? Like, hardly any. And I mean, I'm talking like I must have done over the last 4 years 5, 6, maybe 7,000 transactions, something like, I don't know, I'm just guessing it's around that. You can see on your orders, can't you? So I'd have to check later on. But it's a lot, it's a lot of transactions. And out of that, honestly, like, genuine scammers must be two, maybe 3 at that, so that's like way less than 1%. That's like 0.1%, out of 100. So that's like crazy. So yeah, anyway, let's go down. I'm very, very far behind, so I apologise. Oh, we've got Do It Yourself Lifestyle, Ryan in the chat. Now, does anyone want me to do a giveaway for Thursday Talks 150th episode? I'm thinking maybe doing a giveaway. I'm quite excited. I don't want to announce this because I don't want you to think that I'm trying to sell people things, because I'm not trying to like directly sell you anything, but or maybe I am a bit. But essentially, I made up some t-shirts anyway with my logo on and all the rest of it. And you'll remember that a while ago I did this. I did a couple of t-shirts for myself and stuff. And I thought, right, because Amazon merch is over on the UK, I thought, right, I'll put them on Amazon merch over on the UK, and then I can buy a couple for myself. Well, I'll buy one for myself. I might buy a couple for my friends. I don't think they're going to be best pleased with them anyway. But I might buy them for my friends as well. And also I can buy a few, or maybe 1 or 2, to do as a giveaway for Thursday Talks. Now, of course, they are on merch, so you can buy them if you would like to. But, of course, I was going to do some as a giveaway anyway, so that then a couple of people could get them for free. So, with that being in mind, if I do a giveaway with the t-shirts, maybe it will be on the 150 episode, or maybe it'll be a bit after, depending on when I purchase them and stuff. But if I do that, then maybe don't buy them. If you are thinking you might like a shirt, don't buy them, because you might be in with a chance to win them for free anyway, or win one for free. But I did just want to mention that, because it was on Sunday or Saturday or Sunday, and I thought, oh, Amazon merch is over in the UK now, so I could do like, I could make up a few different t-shirts that I wanted to make up. And I did like a new little logo. I've done a really cool, funky looking little logo, and I really can't wait to buy one of the t-shirts myself, because it's quite funny, isn't it, that you say, you're buying your own t-shirt, like, why can't you just get it for free? But obviously with Amazon merch, I have to buy it, it's a bit annoying. But yeah, I can't wait to get that. So I want to buy one myself as well first, to check the quality, because I don't want people buying them. I don't want people even, in a giveaway, get me handing them out and they're just not very good quality, because I don't want to be selling an inferior product or anything like that. So I'm going to buy one myself. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that as well, so that's pretty cool. I've done a little like video advert thing or whatever as well, that I'm going to throw in one of the videos here or there. I don't know when, maybe after all of the Christmas special stuff is done. And then, maybe on the 15th, 16th, I'll throw that in a couple of videos as well. But yeah, I did want to mention that. Also, what was it? Yeah, also I did want to mention the Christmas specials as well. Don't forget, they're going to be on the 5th, they're going to be on the 10th, and they're going to be on the 15th, okay? So that's 5th, 10th, and 15th. I'm sure you're all sick of seeing that little ad that pops up, at the start of my video with, yeah, you know, one journey, two songs, or whatever it even is now. I can't even remember. I'm sure you're all sick of that, but you know, I want to mention it. I want to get it out there to as many people as I can, because I think some people will enjoy it. I don't know. I'm a bit nervous because I'm like, oh, I don't know whether people are going to enjoy this or not. I don't know whether it's comedy. Or I don't know whether it's just kind of me being completely silly and weird, but maybe that's comedy to some people. So yeah, anyway, so that's my, like, kind of, what do you call it, what, plug, is that right? Plug, that's my plug out of the way. I literally don't know if that even is the right word. I think it is, plug, I think that's the right word. I'll just go down. There's a lot of chat in here. I'm actually going to ignore a lot of the chat, so I apologise. I'm not going to read them out because there'll be, I'm trying to look for the questions, because there's so much chat going on. I mean, if I can't find any questions, I'll read out a bit more chat, but how's your sales socials doing? Choose your fights wisely, not worth the stress and damage to your account long term for low value items. Yeah, very true, Richard. I really don't think it is. I mean, especially for like the defect system and stuff. I mean, I've had terrible trouble with the defect system. Like, when I didn't realise that this is how bad I was. I didn't realise that the defect system was even a thing, till a year after I started reselling. Because when I was doing all that, when I was doing reselling prior, you know, when I was like 13, selling the rain ponchos and stuff, and I actually found, which is pretty cool, down in that, I've got a, you know, set of drawers with all my accounting stuff in there. I actually found all my old, I used to make up like little sales, what are they called? Like little sales sheets. So when I've done a sale, I write it down. I write down the amount and everything. And it was quite funny to look back and see, you know, obviously in my old handwriting, just doing that. I think it was from about 2014, 2013, something like that. I don't know whether I saw any of the ones that were for previous, because I started when I was like 12 or 13, and obviously when I was 2013, 2014, I wasn't 12 or 13, but yeah, essentially I found them, which was pretty cool. And back then, as far as I'm aware, I can't remember for the life of me directly because I was so young, you know, but back when I first started, when I was very young, I don't remember there being a defect system, right? So when I started back up in 2015, I just didn't even realise there was a defect system, right? I didn't think that was even a thing, right? And then, like a year later, someone talked to me about it and stuff, and I was like, what's that? What's a defect system? And then I went into my seller standards dashboard and looked at all that, and realised, oh my god, there's all this whole other world to cover of eBay now. I mean, I was amazed in 2015 when I started back up that you couldn't bloody leave feedback for buyers, you know? I mean, that was a shock for me, because I was like, well, where did that go, you know? And I've touched upon that many a time on Thursday Talks, my annoyance with that fact. But anyway, so I went in, I saw that, and then once I found that, you know, I was in and out a top-rated seller for bloody, you know, a year or so. You know, I mean, I got a few defects and I didn't get, you know, and then I was kind of, you know, they were dropping off as the months go on. But now, you know, luckily, touch wood again, I've been top rated for, I don't know, 14 months now, something like that, maybe even over. But the trick with top rated is being able to keep it, right, you know? So many people, and someone said that actually on Facebook, on a Facebook thread a while ago, and you know, some people think, oh yeah, I'm top rated now, it's brilliant. If you can keep it, then brilliant, you know, but I mean, every now and then you may end up going below it, you know. Luckily for me, as I say, the last 14 months or so, I've maintained it, I've kept it, but yeah, I mean, these days I'm a little bit more wise with how you can get around some of the defects and stuff. And no, this is not going to be a chat about the secret ways that you can get around a defect, because if I start, like, talking about them, eBay will probably end up bloody shutting my account down or something or whatever, because I'm talking about, like, these secret ways you can get around defects. But essentially, there are ways, if you're creative, that you can kind of get around defects that maybe aren't completely wholesome in eBay's eyes, but in my moral eyes, they're completely wholesome. And I'm sure a lot of you will know the ways I'm talking about. And I have mentioned them before, on occasion anyway. But, you know, it's not... So with that new knowledge that I have, it's not necessarily, like, really hard to maintain top rated anymore. And saying that, I don't get defects hardly ever now, because I just don't need... Like, I don't I'm a pretty good seller now, to be frank. You know, I'm pretty good at what I do now. So with that knowledge, you know, with the knowledge of being able to obviously you know, do what I do and do it effectively, why would I get a defect? You know, why would I need to get a defect? Why would a defect ever crop up? Because I'm pretty good at what I do. Now, that's not to say never get a defect or anything like that, but if you're good at what you do, you're going to be able to do it, and you're going to be able to keep it in an efficient way. You're going to be able to maintain your account in a healthy and efficient way. So, yeah. Anyway, we'll look in the chat in a minute. Right then, what else have we got here? It just seems like there's a lot of chat, to be honest. My home base is doing a 70 to 90% off sale. Wow, that's awesome. I wonder if there's any things you can pick up for resale. I suppose 70 to 90% is pretty good. Don't know whether there's any questions. I can't see any. God, there's a lot of chat, isn't there? I have been top weighted for 2 years now, but do you think it's really important and affects sales? I don't, like, honestly, if I'm being brutally honest, I don't think it means crap. I honestly don't think it means crap. Like, years ago, you know, I'm pretty sure years ago you used to get, like, and I don't know because I wasn't top weighted years ago, but I'm just remembering of what I kind of saw years ago, and I'm pretty sure that you could get like discounts, couldn't you, on your fees or something, like 10-20% or something. And then there was all these different seller levels, you know, power seller levels and stuff. But I mean, I wasn't up to that level when I was younger. I was only doing like when I was about 14, I was doing about 4 sales a day. Now, bear in mind, that 4 sales, these were wholesale items that I was selling for like £2 each. So I was doing like £8 a day. That's it. I'm not bigging it up for any more than it's worth. But so, you know, I wasn't anywhere near that. But I do remember I was on the platform. I was being active. I was posting items out. I was, you know, I was dealing with different bits of inventory every day or every other day. And you know, I remember a few of the different adverts that came up and a few of the different sort of options that were available when you hit certain sales targets and stuff. And I do feel that back then, even though, as I say, I wasn't top rated at the time, I do feel like there was more option available in terms of what top rated offered you, you know, as a seller, and in terms of actually having it and it being of use to you. Nowadays, it's literally, I honestly just think it's literally the badge. And I've even heard people say that the badge doesn't even show up on your listings anymore. Now, I don't know whether that's true or not, but if it is true, then we've got literally nothing for being top rated. But to be honest, it is quite nice knowing that I'm top rated and that, you know, if I were to get a defect or anything, I'm not going to be whacked off the platform or anything, you know. If you're just creeping in above standard and, you know, you end up getting a defect, then that's going to knock you below standard, and you better really get your... okay, sorry, I'm going to swear now, and this is because this is my other little nitpick. I did a nitpick at the start of the video about no more tax questions, but this is my other little, not nitpick, but a, I don't know what the word is, but I will be swearing every so often in First Day Talk, so you better get prepared every now and then. If I go off on a little bit of a rant, I'm going to swear. But what was... Oh, God, what was I talking about now? Damn it. Yeah, right, that was it. So if you're above standard, you better make sure that in 6 months or so you get your shit together, because if you do not do that, they will probably end up knocking you off the platform. They're going to give you enough time to get back up from below standard to above standard, but you better make sure that they... you know, they can see you're doing that and you are creeping back up to above standard. So what top rated gives you also is a bit of a cushion from you know, above standard to below standard. It gives you that cushion in terms of defects as well. So that is one thing, as well as, of course, you know, just having the badge and just feeling like, oh yeah, I'm top rated, I'm a top rated eBay seller. You know, it's like one of those ego it's an ego brush, isn't it? It's like, oh yes, I'm top rated. Oh yeah, you know what I mean? Like you go around and, I mean, I've never done this, but you know, some people, I'm assuming loads of people do this actually. They go around, to, you know, the mate's house, or we go round here, there, or wherever, and we go, oh yes, I'm eBay top rating, you know, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so I suppose it's got that perk as well. You can go around saying that, like, I mean, to be honest, I really do think that I've only got 1,000 items on it. Like, I mean, I've got over 1,000 items on eBay just so I can say to people, oh, I've got 1,000 items on eBay. Because, to be honest, it does make me feel a little bit good when I say that. I said it the other year, actually, when I went round my friend's house and he had a few of his friends over that I didn't even know. And then he was like introducing me and saying I'm an eBay reseller and stuff. And then I was like, yeah, and I don't know whether I said it, but or whether it just came up in conversation, actually. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I said, well, obviously I said it at some point, but I mean, I don't know whether I like did it in an egotistical way or whether it just came up in conversation. But I was like, yeah, I've got 1,000 items on eBay and stuff, and it did make me feel good saying it. So it's kind of like top rated is like that these days. It's just like a little brush or a stroke for your ego kind of thing. You know, it's nothing more than that, really. In my opinion, you know, there might be something that someone will tell me it gives you. I know that didn't it give you not long ago, like 10% off, not your fees, but, or was it your fee, or was it, no, it must have been your fees, was it not 10% off your final value fee or something, or 10% off insertion, or so, I don't know, but, yeah, the late delivery closed, case closed, no resolution, just shows good customer service, in my opinion. Oh, and ads, I have 1,300. Oh, great. No, it's going to be a contest now, isn't it? Everyone's going to go like, oh, yeah, well, I've got 15,000 listings. Yeah, okay. All right. I'm happy. I'm happy with 1,140 odd I've got or whatever. You know, to be honest, I'd love 500 listings. I mean, like, I would love just to have 400 or 500 listings and just work from that. And maybe one day I will, to be honest, once I've shaved off more off my inventory. I mean, not long ago I had 1,400 and I've shaved another 300 off because I just thought, you know, it's just dead weight. You know, it's just dead weight. So, yeah, I'm quite happy going back to 500 or whatever, because literally all it is, you know, it's an ego trip, as I mentioned, like saying you've got 1,000 on eBay. But it's no good if those 1,000 items aren't selling. You know, you could say, oh yeah, I've got 1,000 items on eBay. Like, literally, right? Someone could come up to me and say, I've got 100 items on eBay. And I could come up to them and say, I've got 1,000 items on eBay, right? And then they could say to me, I'm doing 6,000 a month, and my profit on that is 50% net profit margin, 3 grand a month, right? And I could say my figures to them, and then I would feel a little bit inferior because my figures aren't as good as them on 100 listings, and that just proves it right there. You do not need 1,000 listings. Now, is it hard to do those figures on 100? Okay, yeah, maybe 100 is a bit low, but let's say, you know, 300 or something like that. You could easily do those figures on 300, you know, 300 active listings. So, you know, and it's still like way less than I've got. So, and I'm not trying to say that someone who's got less listings is better or anything if they're doing more turnover. I'm just saying maybe it's a little bit more of a streamlined business, and maybe it's, you know, and obviously with storage as well, like actually the amount that they've got to store is a lot less than me, so, you know, it's a lot more streamlined in that way. But if you want a big massive store and, you know, you've got the space for it, and that's kind of the business model that you like to adopt, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I mean, look at Ken, he's doing brilliantly with it. Loads of people who've got, you know, 4,000 or 5,000 listings, and they love that business model, that suits them, and they can make it work really, really well for them as well. So, and I think it may be with a larger inventory, it's somewhat about inventory size, or, you know, the actual units in your inventory, the size of the units. So, you know, doing like postcards and the rest of it, you know, small items, or maybe jewelry or something like that. Or maybe even like, I suppose you could do them magic lantern slides, couldn't you, if like they're worth selling individually. You know, you could just have an inventory full of them. You know, you could have loads of stuff. I don't even want to get into it, how much, you know, stuff you could have. Anyway, I'm going to go in a second because we've just gone over an hour. So thank you everyone for joining me anyway. If you've got any more questions, I will be around for another minute, and then I am going, because I've just realised we're about 10 minutes over an hour. I know I do some rambling, don't I? So yeah, if you have any more questions, drop them now, because I will be going in like a minute if I don't get any other questions. I don't think we have any more up the chat. No, I don't think we have any more. I am top rated seller. My fee discount this month was a whopping for. Oh, so there still is a fee discount, right? I thought there wasn't. I thought I remember someone saying to me. They mustn't, obviously, but I thought I remember someone saying to me that we've got rid of that now. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into that because I'm top rated seller, so I better. Or is it just done automatically? I'm guessing it's done automatically, but I don't know. Maybe I'm due some discounts or something, I don't know. Richard says, don't think TRS matters that much, yeah. That's what a lot of people are saying here, actually. Right, so yeah, that's everything. We don't have any more questions, so I'll leave it there, guys. Thank you very much for joining me today. I will see you in the next one. I'll be doing an Amazon sales update very soon because I need to show you all my Lego that's sold, and I'll do an eBay sales update as well. I am going to try and get back into haul videos, but I've not really been picking anything up, like literally hardly anything. I've just been processing them Doctor Who figures, but I've got an auction on the 4th of December, so I'll be probably going to be buying quite big from that auction if I can, if prices are good. So I'll end up doing a few haul videos from that, because I do want to get back into haul videos. But yeah, you won't have a shortage of videos next month because I've already got 3 or 4 videos scheduled, and then we'll be having even more videos on top of that, which are my normal videos, and I might even do a couple of vlogs for Vlogmas as well if I can stomach doing it. So you know, if I've got the time and everything. So yeah, you won't have a shortage of videos next month, and yeah, I'll see you very soon, guys. So thank you very much for joining me, and see